Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the last voyage of the Demeter. And joining me once again is Time Warriors author Owen Quinn.
Hello, I have returned again.
Just like
This time,
Dracula, you just come
I am a
back.
bit like Dracula. I'm a bit of a night owl, and I would sort of like go weird on the sun. 'Cause I'm a funny color of the day after sitting there yesterday the last couple of days. But I was only limited exposure because I'm not really I have to be it's too many skin cancer stuff and all that. But yeah, no, I've turned a funny color. I'm
Right,
sort of like I'm sort of like my arms are look like an Oreo. The top
right.
of them are dark brown. The back of them are white. So,
I've more so turned a weird peach color, but I'm not
I was
I'm not
telling you.
built for this heat at all.
Oh, I love the heat. It's been really hot though, really hot.
Oh, it's mental.
Um, but I could quite happily live in this heat. I love that. I love the subtropical.
Right. Well, do you know who doesn't like the sun?
Um,
Dracula. So, Owen, you suggested this because you're quite fond of this movie.
mm,
So yeah,
I
Owen.
thought it was really sort of one of the under the radar ones.
Hmm.
I think it's a nice take on the Dracula myth, the whole thing, and people's expectations. And I think it's a movie that is the most tragic of them all
Yeah,
for one
we
very simple reason, but we'll get into that
we'll
later.
get into that when we get there for sure. So
Mm.
yeah, I finished it yesterday, and I have a few questions that maybe Owen can answer for me. The book is on my reading list, so maybe the book goes more into the kind of world building aspect. But yeah, we'll
Probably
get in.
I've never read it. I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll get into it as we go. But Owen, you have the cast list there, is that right?
I do.
Go for it. This is your
I'm
moment.
laughing because who's top of the cast but our old friend Liam Cunningham.
Liam Cunningham is back.
He's back. And for those of you who didn't listen to Dog Soldiers podcast, I had a run in, not a run in, but
A run
a
in
very
sounds
funny.
really bad.
It does that. Funny thing about a punch up. A funny encounter with Liam Cunningham at the premiere of Star Wars: The Force Awakens in Dublin, and it was broadcast on national television. I love Liam. Liam's great. He's been in Doctor Who, um, Game of Thrones, obviously, Dog Soldiers. He's Ryan, the bad guy. But you've Big Liam is the captain of the ship who is planning to retire. You've David Dash Malchian, who's been in everything now. He was the polka dot man in Suicide Squad.
Oh, that's
Just
right. Yeah,
to
he
give
was.
everybody a face.
He's
But
he's he's one of those actors that will always give a solid performance.
yeah, I really like him. What I first became aware of him in was the reboot of MacGyver, and he played
Oh.
Murdoch, MacGyver's arch enemy, and he was as an assassin,
Hmm.
and he had no morals, no nothing. He kept coming back for or for multiple episodes, and he just those are the ones I always gravitate towards because this is going to be fun
Yeah.
because he's just the heartless killer, but then you get to see explore different sides from him and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's really it's a great great advert, a great accent on in this one.
Yeah.
The first mate, Wojciech.
He was in
Um,
The Dark Knight as well, wasn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and you've Corey Hawkins as Dr. Clements.
Yeah, he's very good
Um,
in this as well.
he's good in that as well. Um, the rest of them I don't really know, but I think for this film that those three alone look good on a poster
Yeah.
with the ship and Dracula underneath them.
Yeah.
But it is a good cast. There isn't a bad performance
No,
in any of them.
the acting is very solid, and I think Liam Cunningham's outstanding in this. I think he's
Yeah,
very, very good. But we'll
yeah.
get there. Right. We're going to go through the movie from start to finish and dig into some of the writing and then give our final verdict at the end. So, right, we open in England, 1879, and a group of men find a shipwreck. Excuse me. And there's no one alive on the ship. But they find a captain's log, and the captain's log has a warning. What's that warning, Owen?
Uh,
Beware vampire.
Beware vampires. Don't make sure you book with P&O on my ship. Um, it's sort of like,
It's basically if you find this, God help you all.
yeah, which is not really helpful, Liam. No offense. You know what I mean? That's like a bucket of water after the house burns down. You're too late.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but it's the setup. Am I not thinking in the book? Maybe I'm wrong. That there was a body still lashed to the wheel. I think I could be completely wrong,
Yeah.
but I mean, you're gonna open something. You need a good hook, and there's nothing more freaky than a ghost ship,
Mm.
which you knew had people, and there's a book telling you run.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Like,
pretty
so
ominous.
there's your hook.
Very, yeah, it's a good hook. It's a very ominous opening, and I liked it. I liked the. Um, Now, if anyone read the book, they kind of know what the story's going to be. So the film kind of. What do you think about? We'll say you haven't read the book. Do you think they should have given away that everyone had died?
Well, this is where Owen's detective skills came in, because I said to a
Oh.
friend of mine when it came out, I says, I guarantee, he says, but because he says, like, oh, but you all know what happens, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, but you all knew what happened on Titanic, but
Mm.
you didn't. So I says, this is going to be the same as From Hell, if you remember that with Johnny Depp, where the final victim, Mary Kelly of Jack the Ripper, it turned out she survived. It was another person that was mistaken for her.
Yeah.
I says that I'm telling you now, something's going to happen. There's going to be an extra passenger on the ship that was not recorded, that
Something like
wasn't in the
that.
book. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's what's going to happen. But as for the rest, I don't know. It'll probably stay faithful to the book.
Yeah.
So I was kind of right. Well, I was right.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a feeling they might throw like
Yeah, because
uh
you have to.
yeah.
I did. Do you know what I've seen today? A trailer poster for Cujo.
Oh.
Yeah, but here's the problem with Cujo. There's only two ways it's going to end, and in the original one, it ended a certain way, and then you've got the book ending. It's the same with the Long Walk. I'm sort of be a bit wary of adapting books on screen, because unless you're radically going to change, it's either going to be the same old, oh, that's the stuck to the book, or you go, oh, well, I wouldn't have done that. So there's very few that I can think off the top of my head where it's, oh my God, that was really better ending than the book.
The Mist.
I hate The Mist.
Oh, okay.
Hate The Mist with a passion.
Do a lot of people not find the ending to that one better? Did Stephen King say he preferred that ending? Did he, or am I wrong?
I think he did. No, I think he did. But I'm not really a fan of them. And I watched the TV series as well, which was actually not bad. But a Mist doesn't really do it for me.
Right.
So when it came to this one, the Demeter, I was kind of excited, but I just interested to see what they were going to do, because
Yeah.
of the rumors. They were going about that it was going to be Alien on a sailing ship.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll do.
Do you think
Let's
that's
go
a
for it.
good summary of this movie, Alien on a Ship, or not so much?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. I was actually, when I was rewatching it yesterday for the podcast, I was sort of looking at it and going, "Well, there's a Ripley moment." Joe,
Yeah.
I was seeing the original Alien, rather than Aliens and all the rest that come before. It's that first. There's something in your environment that you've no knowledge of, and you've no way of fighting it. So you're sort of, there's no way to escape. So it is Alien on a ship, but with Dracula.
Yeah. Right, so after they find the boat, we cut to 4 weeks earlier, and they're getting a crew together for the Demeter, and one of the men who delivers the crate says, "We need to leave before the sun sinks." And this is a question I had for you before we started recording. So, the guys who transported Dracula's crate here, where he's resting in soil from his homeland, and they want to get out of there before the sun goes down, because they know the score. But I was thinking, like, well, what would happen if they just opened the crate then and there? Would that just end Dracula? Would he just burn up? And if so, why don't they?
Well, I was actually thinking about this since you asked me 2 minutes ago and threw me on the spot. I don't know. I I sort of can refer to something that's said later on, but I'm not saying by who.
Yeah,
Such is the power and the fear that Dracula has instilled on this place, um, where the men are sort of like Salem's Lot, where they deliver his crate to the ship.
yeah,
They know what he's done and what he's capable of,
yeah,
so there's no way they're going to piss him off. They're hoping he goes to England, doesn't come back. But the reason he's going to England because he has drained them dry. They are literally the living dead. There's nothing left of the life that they had. So
So
the, the,
is it that
the
he has infected them all and they're under his sort of control? Because that
no,
line confused me as well when they said like there's no one left to feed on. Um,
yeah,
I was like, okay, I'd like them to go into that a bit more. What exactly does that mean? Like, because does that
I think
mean that?
that's better.
Go
I
on.
think that's better answered when you get to the further end of the movie
Right. Yeah.
for that other character.
Yeah.
But I think it says a lot. The best dictators in the world controlled by fear.
Yeah.
So if this one person, and you've all seen the Dracula movies, we know this the power and the fear that it instills in villagers. It's not
Yeah.
like now where they would sort of kick their phones out and film it.
Yeah.
It's dark nights. I mean dark. It's the night that's actually hiding something really scary
Yeah.
that controls them. So he's controlling them. I don't know about infecting them, because they would burn up as well.
That's the thing. So
But I
like,
think it's
why
the
is
control
there like no one left to feed on then?
because he sucked them all dry. He's literally drained. So you suck a village dry. Who runs a village?
You know.
Do you know what I mean? You've taken away the workforce. There's nobody to do the crops. The land's dying because he's Dracula. So no
Yeah.
matter what he touches, he sort of it destroys, and there's no joy. They're living in fear. Their kids are being taken,
He
and fed on.
he
And
basically wants
there's
fresh
nothing
meat.
that
Like.
yeah, and there's nothing here about you can't go in if you haven't been invited. You have to be invited first. There's nothing like that here, and I think that was a Hollywood invention.
Yeah.
Because if this thing's coming for you, he's coming for you,
Yeah.
and that's it.
There you go. I assumed it was like the fear of Dracula was stopping him from really taking
Yeah,
action or something along those lines, or he does have them under some form of control. I wasn't too sure, um, but we
see
see.
if it
Yeah,
it'd been me writing that, I'd put something in to explain that
yeah,
because I'm just a stickler for that sort of thing. Because I did it the other day in this tournament. Why did that happen? Oh right,
yeah,
so I'll put that line in there. So I think it's important that you put in tiny lines. Don't have to be big speeches that at least explain why.
just something for the
For all
audience
we
to
know,
understand, because you don't want
yeah,
the audience going, well, why don't they do this? Why don't they do
why did
that?
they do that?
Yeah,
Because they're literally going back to a graveyard because there's nothing left of the life they had, which we'll discover later on through somebody else.
yeah, and I guess
Mm.
because we all know a lot of like vampire lore, but in this film, we don't know exactly what rules are applied to this version of Dracula. So, if he burned up in the sun, would he come back? Like, can he actually be killed for sure? I don't know.
Mm.
Um,
Because it hasn't been established. It's almost as if they've done away with everything that you expect or you think you know. Forget it
yeah, because I think
for
they
this
say something
movie.
about Dracula, where it's like he's alive because he's afraid of death or something like that. He
Yeah.
fears death, so he's kind of immortal, something along those lines. So maybe, perhaps he can't be finished off for good. I'm not too sure. But yeah. Then we see a guy sees a symbol on the crate. It's a symbol of a dragon, and it freaks him out. And he lets the rope slip a bit, and the cargo's falling. And then Clemens saves the kid Toby from the fallen cargo. Toby is the captain's son. So earlier they denied Clemens um onto the ship. They chose other men instead.
Mm.
Despite the fact that he probably would have been quite useful. So he saves the son from the fallen cargo, and this gets him on the ship. They're really grateful to him. The other guy who's freaking out doesn't want to go on the ship, so they let Clemens on board. So Clemens saving the kid gets him onto the ship.
Yeah, that's the captain's grandson.
Oh, grandson, is it? Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Which makes it more tragic, but we'll come to that later.
yes. The crew member, yeah, he freaks out with the dragon symbol, and then he says, "God save you all." Um, and then yeah, they allow Clement onto the ship, and then they set sail. We find out as well that this is Captain Elliot's last voyage.
Mm.
They're all sitting around over food, kind of having a chat, and Clement says he has a desire to understand this world. He says, "The more I see of it, the less it makes sense." So he has this
Mm.
desire to make sense of the world, because he's been treated unfairly as well through his
Yeah.
life, which we'll find out. Um,
But I think remember I was saying earlier it's like Alien on a ship. That scene is very reminiscent for me of the table scene in Alien.
yeah,
So 'cause they're just talking and you get to know about the characters and what they're gonna be spending their money on and so stuff like that. It's just it's character building without you actually realizing it's character building
exactly.
and
Yeah,
the camaraderie between. So that for me is a nice little scene
yeah. I
because you
like.
get to identify with them.
Yeah, and one of the things I don't like with dialogue is when people are just talking for the sake of talking. Like the dialogue should be achieving more than just talking for the sake of it. Like you should be learning something about the characters or the world or the plot.
Mm.
And you can achieve two things at once. You can learn something about the character and also the plot at the same time with various lines. So yeah, so they're all sitting around and you kind of get a sense of them. The animals in the ship start freaking out because they can maybe sense that there's something nasty on board.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, then a while later, Clemens discovers a dying stowaway, and he concludes that she needs a blood transfusion. And Wojciech, what was the actor's name again?
David or Dash Malchian.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, David, if you're listening, I got that wrong, but I am a big fan, really am.
it's a tricky name to say. Yeah, he plays
Uh,
Wojciech, and Wojciech wants her thrown overboard, but Captain Elliot won't allow it. Um, and we see that like so there's a couple of instances where we've learned that Clemens really cares about people, so that's a big part of his character.
mm,
He put himself at risk to save Toby, and he's fighting to keep this woman on board and to treat her and all that kind of stuff. One of the crewmen says a woman on a ship is a bad omen, and the men won't be happy. But Clemens doesn't care. He wants to keep her on board and help her. So the blood transfusions, because he's concluded that she has some kind of infection, and the blood transfusion will help kind of treat it or stall it or whatever it is. We'll find out more about that in a bit. And
I
then on the
think,
go for it.
sorry, just jump in. See, the fact that they find her
Yeah.
is actually a very clever move on Dracula's part because that he puts her there
Do you
as
think
a
it was
distraction.
you think it was
Yeah,
intentional?
100%. Yeah, because as you find out, she's covered in bite marks. So she's been in the coffin with them for the journey as like a sort of Capri Sun. Um, so technically, he's now got. There's a line later on that explains it. You can understand why he now discards her, but she's also a distraction
Okay.
from anything weird on, and that omen thing is true. You know the the naval traditions and the superstitions that's true. So stowaways are never a good omen. But that was very clever on Dracula's part to
Oh,
take the remove. There's no focus on him as yet, but he makes sure there's no focus on him by placing her with her mysterious scars and with her strange blood thing out where the crew can find her.
yeah. I wasn't sure if he'd done it on purpose because isn't it a risk as well? Like, couldn't she give them information?
Yeah, she could, and she does.
Yeah.
But as you'll see, she might as well. She could give them the big book, the "This Is Your Life" book. It's not really going to make a difference, so he doesn't actually care. Tell all you want because nobody's getting off this.
Mm.
Now he's alive. So again, that just shows the power and the not arrogance, but the power that Dracula has. He knows he can control humans. He knows how humans work.
Yeah,
And it's just an open buffet for him right now until he gets England.
yeah. So one of the men says to Clemens that there's something out there. I think he spotted something briefly when he was looking through his spyglass or
Mm.
or telescope. Or, what do you call it?
Telescope, I think. There is there is one of the spy glasses, but there's also telescopes.
Hmm. Um, and then we find out that something killed the animals, and they want to try and figure out what happened. And Elliot orders them to dispose of the meat because he thinks they might be infected because your one was infected.
Mm.
Um, and then I can't remember who it was, but someone said, "No man did this. Evil is on board." Was that was that Elliot or was that Clemens or someone else? I can't remember.
Well, I think it was the big guy with the beard,
Yes, that's
Larson,
right.
maybe
Yeah,
the one that doesn't have, you know what I mean. Before we get there,
yeah. Oh, the one who I think spotted something on board earlier. He
yeah,
said there's something out. I think that was him. Um, and then we have a scene where Clemens consoles Toby about the animals because it was Toby's job to look after them. So he feels really, really guilty that all the animals are dead. And Clemens says to him, sometimes things go wrong no matter what we promise. There are things in this world we can't control.
yeah,
So
that's true.
there you go. So, and Toby perks up a little bit after this. And that says a little bit more about Clemens's character. Um, and then we have a conversation with one of the crewmates. Clemens says, I don't believe in superstition. I believe in science and nature. So he doesn't believe there's something unnatural on board, like the other fella does, because he
Mm.
doesn't believe in all that. He believes in science because he's a well educated man, isn't he? He's like he's got a what do you call that stuff where about the stars? Um,
Astronomy,
yeah,
yes, astronomy, yeah.
like he can navigate using the stars, and he's really good with all the medical stuff.
Mm.
And we'll find out a little
He's
bit.
educated himself. He's gone against the grain of the time
Yes.
and became an educated man. And even though he's got this education, it's still held against him.
Yeah.
But that's a nice reflection of the times. But
Yeah.
it turns out he is actually the most important person on that ship because it's him that says you don't need maps, you don't need charts, just look up and go by the stars.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Like these are all experienced sailors, and none of them can do it.
yeah, we find out later that he's been held back by the color of his skin,
Yeah,
which as you said, reflects the times. And then we find out that food is scarce and all the rats are gone.
I
And
wouldn't be on the ship. Full stop. I'd have been out. I'd have been away with the rats.
yeah,
No, see,
I think maybe you're right. Um,
oh, you see when you see it when I think, thank God I was born when it was, because I don't think I'd have survived that life on a ship in the
no,
middle of the sea
full of
with a
rats.
rat.
Yeah.
See if I'd seen a rat on a Norway cruise, I would. You know the first thing I did
Well,
before getting on the boat was check to see where the lifeboats were.
yes, that's a pretty good habit to have.
And then my um, in-laws' cabin had a balcony, and if you go out their balcony, I looked down, the lifeboats were beneath their cabin. I went, happy days. Now we know where to go if something happens. But yeah, no, I just have a real phobia about rats. I'd have starved
Oh man.
before taking any food off. Oh
Oh
no.
man, yeah, I'm the same. Rats, no, thank you.
But rats were a big thing in the strain as well. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
There were the rats cleared out of New York.
yeah,
So the rats are a traditional part of life of those days on the ships, and that's how they get into New Zealand, Australia, and all that stuff.
yeah,
Um, but when the rats run, you follow them.
yeah. Like as your man said, it's very strange that there's no rats on board. He thinks that's very bizarre. He said something like, if
Yeah,
you burned the ship down, you'd still have rats in the ashes or something like that.
yeah, that's true. It's like the cook is a religious person.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name off the top of my head, But he says a ship without rat is a ship without a soul.
Yes, yes.
Which I'm sort of like, oh, that's one description. It wouldn't be mine. Be great. Oh,
uh,
Joseph the Cook. Joseph the Cook. John Brions.
there you go. And one of the men says something has drove them off, so he believes that something has drove off the rats. And
Mm.
then Dracula kills one of the crewmen. The gore in this movie is pretty decent. Like it does get pretty gruesome at times.
Yeah, yeah. But not OTT, I thought.
Yeah, it doesn't linger on. There's a few where we'll get to in a bit where it's pretty gruesome, but like it's nothing that most people wouldn't be able to tolerate from a horror movie.
Yeah.
And Clemens has examined the animals. He says all the animals had bite marks on their neck. And then Anna, the stowaway, starts freaking out, and she's like, he's here.
Here.
We have to get off this boat." And then yeah, Elliot's the one writing all this down, so it's his journal that they'll find later. So he's documenting all these events.
Mm.
So yeah, Captain Elliot jotting it all down. And yeah, then Clemens and Anna are talking, and Anna says, an evil in her village that hides in the mountains above, in a castle older than any of us. He feeds on blood. He feeds on the blood of the innocent. And then she says, Dracula.
Yeah.
And then she goes, No, she doesn't.
And I'd be going, where's that lifeboat? And they get them rows them away.
Yeah, so overall, like so far when I was watching this, so like it's got a good atmosphere to it. I really like the atmosphere in the movie.
And also it's you sort of think at that point, well, why don't they go searching for it? It's not that big a boat, a ship.
Yeah, I
And
was
then
kind of wondering
what,
about that. Yeah.
what did you think about it? I know they don't know this, but given the death of the first fella, which was set up by Dracula perfectly,
And he threw him overboard to hide the body, didn't he?
yeah, Dracula's planning all this and plotting and looking at them, and there's a line later on that explains why Dracula's doing what he's doing. He's not like kill them all at once. There's no need for that. But it's sort of like you're looking at how Dracula's mind works
Yeah.
in this, which is why. But if they all went down under the decks, they're in confined space, in the dark, no sunlight to protect them. He's going to wipe them out, and he
Yeah.
doesn't even need to do that yet
Yeah.
because his plan isn't complete.
Yeah. Then Dracula attacks two more men, and he's in pursuit of one of them. One of the men is like, he's saying, "No, please," and then Dracula kind of mimics what he said, and he's
Yeah.
like, he copies him saying, "Please, no," which was really eerie. I thought that was really
Yeah.
eerie.
What did you think of the look?
Um, I'm still not sure. I'm still a bit mixed on it. I mean, I don't know. What do you think of it?
I think it actually fitted very well.
I think
because
so. Yeah, I think so.
you're looking at a Dracula that is emancipated. So as you see him on the deck with the first kill, he's like literally crawling.
Yeah.
Until he gets the blood in him. So that it's almost like a rake. Have you ever heard of a rake creature?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like that, and it's dark and it's shadowy, and it's like how you're looking at going, what was that a person?
Yeah.
And you have to look. You don't know, but you think it was a person because it's almost like he glides in and out of the shadows.
Yeah.
Like the best of predators, he's
Yeah.
using his and obviously mimicking the guy that was up on the ropes was very predator-like as well.
Yeah.
But I thought the look for this was very good because if we're going to do Dracula, if we're going to do Dracula as an alien on a ship, you can't have Gary Oldman or
Yeah.
Christopher
Yeah.
Lee or something. Do that
Yeah.
classic Dracula.
I like
Do you remember in,
I like the way that they're focusing on Dracula as a creature. The creature side of Dracula
yeah,
is what this one's
exactly.
all about, and that's very
Do
interesting.
you remember in the Oldman movie where he changed into the monster version,
Yeah,
that's where my interest picks up for vampires. I want to see that, what lies beneath the human
yeah.
illusion that they put forward. I want to see that. And I
Mm,
think this movie did that very well because you did have it was half human, half monster, and it
yeah,
knew exactly what it was doing, and it just ticked all the supernatural boxes, I
yeah.
think, for that.
Um, so yeah, so one of the men is dead and the other is badly injured. And then we find out that it's been 18 days at sea. And then they decide to search the ship for whatever this thing might be. So they're not quite sure what they're looking for exactly, but they decide to search the ship for it. So you reckon they should have done that earlier?
Yeah, but I think they would have been killed either way.
Yeah, they might have
I
been,
think they
but
would
I
have
still wonder if they should have maybe made that decision earlier.
earlier. Yeah, I think so. I think they should have, but there's a line later on that sort of counteracts that, but it doesn't. If you know what I mean,
Right.
like Dracula was rationing them for the journey. He knew how long the journey was going to take, so he's just as he had the girl in the thing to feed off when he needed to, but he didn't convert her into vampire. It's the same with the crew. He's only got so many people on the ship, so he has to ration them out long enough to get to the shores of England, where
Yeah.
he can then start again.
Yeah. So I have a few questions about that later on, but we'll get to it. So the injured man, Olgarin, is he's under the control of Dracula and he attacks Toby. And Toby's locked in a room, and Olgarin starts. So you see his eyes have changed color, and to break the door down, he just keeps smacking it with his head, which
Yeah,
is pretty freaky.
that white eye thing was used also to good effect in night in the 70s horror movie Terror Express,
Right.
where the victims of this was like an alien parasite in the body of a caveman that was frozen or a
Mm.
yeti or something. And any victim he took, his eyes shone red and their eyes went completely white and bleeding.
Mm.
I think that whole sequence where Toby's sitting going, "Hello, Mister, whatever you call you," and he's walking towards him in
Yeah.
shadow, and then that effect with the light just comes as he opens his eyes. It's very freaky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
So
freaky.
they manage to stop Olgarin, but then Dracula gets Toby. We see that the cross and the beads they didn't help the boy at all.
No,
And there's no throughout this movie, like, religion doesn't seem to help them at
no.
all, which is interesting. So then they conclude that, like, Toby's infected and he needs a blood transfusion. But it might not save him because he's smaller and weaker, so it mightn't work out. Um,
But that whole sequence of him, of Dracula coming down above the kid is so well executed.
mm,
And there's just, you know, I have a thing where kids getting hurt in movies. And
yeah,
I just thought, please don't grab that child. And when he grabs him up and then feeds on him, it's just, and it's close up. It's not like in the background or anything or from far away. He's close up and he's killing this kid right before us. And he's just, Dracula doesn't care.
yeah,
You're just a Capri Sun to him.
yeah,
And this is
exactly.
the latest one.
I thought
Um, I
initially I thought it was a bit of a cop out. I thought they were going to do like a fake out death with the kid, but we'll find out that that's not the case.
No. And remember, he killed his dog as well when he killed the animals. There was
Yeah,
a wee dog or two.
he'll just eat anything, this fella.
Yeah, but that dog thing is also a recurring theme. You know, like the Hounds of Hell, the
Yeah.
Hounds guarding the gates of hell, and that was done in Salem's Lot as well.
Mm.
Where the gravedigger's dog was impaled on the railings by Barlow off screen.
Yeah.
So there's this thing about vampires, you're seeing bits of vampire lore, but religion isn't going to help you, as you said.
Yeah. So they tie Olgarin up on the deck, and I like this scene. I like this scene a lot. Where so they're talking
Yeah,
to Olgarin. Olgarin says, "I can hear everything, even the blood in your veins,"
yeah,
and Then he starts saying it burns, and initially you might think, oh, the infection is burning him, like the infection inside of him. But it turns out the sunlight is burning him, and then he goes up in flames. So I like that scene. I thought it was pretty effective.
Mm.
Um,
It also tells the characters, look, you do have a defense here
yeah,
against this thing. Um, I think when I say the whole tragic irony of the movie is that they're actually in their greatest weapon, which is a wooden ship. And
oh
if they'd have known a stake through the heart would have done,
yeah,
all I'd do is cut part of it. I think that's part of the attraction for me for this movie is it's so tragic because they're actually standing in the biggest weapon that they've got.
yeah,
And then Dracula knows they don't know that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it really the kick in the nuts, but at least that's sunlight.
But one question I have about that though is it part
Mm.
of this Dracula lore that a wooden stake through the heart will do the job? Because I'm not sure
Well,
exactly what vampire rules apply. Because
yeah,
I know in the book I think there's some things that are not in later vampire lore.
but I because some of it's Hollywood made up. I don't know. So I don't know the thing, but you've got the sunlight, and I think the wooden stake thing is probably part of it because those are always the two stalwarts part cutting his head off.
Yeah,
Um, so I'm taking it from what I would know about vampires
yeah,
that the wooden stake is always going to
yeah,
be one of the main weapons along with sunlight,
yeah.
which
Um,
makes it really sad. That all they do is like when they do their traps or whatever their weapons, all they do is sharpen a few sticks and go at him.
yeah, or bring his crate up on the deck or something.
Mm.
So you know,
But it's full of soil. So no, when they go and find it, it's just filled to the brim with soil.
yeah, yeah. He has to
So
rest in soil from his
yeah.
homeland.
So he must burrow into it. So that's another thing that it's different because any other coffin was just lined with soil. But unless he burrows into it, like some sort of worm or something.
Right. Who
But the fact
knows?
there's no rules and you don't know, there's nothing here to say, here's how you kill the vampires and this is how you do this, that makes it more scary and more tragic at the
Mm,
same time because it's all this is a battle between good and evil, and the survivors. It's almost like a Scream movie. Who's going next
yeah,
against Ghostface, who happens to have a Dracula face? You know what I
yeah,
mean? So that's what you're looking at. But us as the audience know that all you do is like sharpen the brick and take a few of them boards up.
yeah.
No, I think that adds to the movie. This one.
Yeah, maybe. I'd have to think about it a bit more. Um, so Clemens decides that he's going to open the crates. So they're going
Yeah.
to open the crates and deal with this creature. This bit's interesting. So Anna says it needs to feed because you saved me. So there's a couple of talking points here. So one is that Clemens' good deed kind of unleashed this evil aboard the ship, but at the same time, like, was Dracula only planning to use her for the whole trip? Or was he planning to use her until they got to open waters and then feed off everyone else? I don't know if it says that. I think, you know,
It,
I think
it's not
Anna's
clear.
basically saying that, he was only going to use me, and because you saved me, he had to feed on the rest of them. And there's a lot of questions then that arise from that. What do you reckon? What do you reckon the Dracula's plan was?
Well, see, she also says later on the reason you're all still alive is because Dracula was rationing you lot.
Mm,
So we were all. He's taking what he wanted out of me, but now he's all this fresh blood. Um, so he was rationing them until they got to the end of their journey because they get the day one of being out from England,
yeah,
um, and then he goes all out.
yeah,
But
it,
if you look at the lore, there's something about the legends that it's the ship of the damned.
Hmm.
It's been done in other things like Life Force, and it's a ship of the damned where the crew, without the powers that be, the way the mysterious universe works, which also feeds into Clement's view of why are they all being brought together for the why is it this ship, why these people,
Hmm.
um,
So
and
was
they're
Dracula's
all being
plan
marked for
to
death.
feed off Anna, let her recover for a bit, and then feed off her again, let her recover, that kind of thing?
Well, see, I don't think so because she had infection. So once your blood gets infection, unless you have an antibiotic, whatever, as you know, that infection is going to kill you. So I think she was dying, so we discarded her.
Hmm.
So that they would find her. And the only reason she's still alive is because of the blood transfusions. Otherwise, her blood was tainted. It was
Yeah.
no good to Dracula anymore.
Well,
Um,
in that case, then she was wrong about what she said because she says to
yeah,
Clemens, you know, the men are dead because you saved me. So
yeah,
that's incorrect then, is it?
yeah. Well, for me, for my version of it, that I would say yes, because at the end of the day, she didn't know what from Monday from Tuesday when she was found. If she knew Dracula so well, I'm sort of thinking, did nobody ever try to attack him? Maybe they did in the field, and that's why he was able to take over the village and drain it completely and destroy them. So nobody ever did figure out the stake through the wooden heart thing.
Yeah.
What to explain that? I did think that when I was going, your entire village has been destroyed by this thing. So surely that somebody has thought, let's try and kill it or attempted to kill it. But as you can see from this movie, it is a lot more clever and a lot more agile than the normal human who is afraid, is running on adrenaline. So it 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 is so cool because it knows it can't beat them, or they can't beat it.
Yeah.
So it has that arrogance and that sort of higher ground where it's just laughing at them. It's like in Salem's Lot when Barlow and Stricker used to walk around the town. James, oh, my favorite actor, I can't remember. Um, used to walk around the town and the antique shop opens and all the people come to the antique shop and everything's so lovely and nice and very Pleasantville. And all the while he's walking about going, "Yous are all going to meet the master, and not one of yous are going to see tomorrow."
Yeah.
I mean, it's that inner sort of arrogance that I know what's coming and you
Hmm.
don't.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's just a few questions like that where
Yeah,
an answer might make it better or worse, but
yeah, you need that one line,
we don't
I think.
have definitive answers on everything.
But then, do we have definitive answers on because vampire lore keeps changing to a certain degree, depending on the movie? And then Vampire Diaries completely changed it as well. It got a cure. You had the rings that let you walk about in sunlight, stuff like that. Um, I think it's this is very much in the tone of we're not going to tell you. We'll just let you
Yeah.
think about what you know
Yeah.
and leave you sort of. Let's not say nothing because it makes it much more interesting as a movie rather than her coming up from the coffin going, "Hey guys, get wooden stakes. Let's kill this and that, and then we'll all be safe."
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a few questions about character decisions and stuff like that, but as I said,
Mm,
like a rewatch might make it go up or down in my estimation. I'm not quite sure which way to go at the moment, but
yeah,
in any case, Anna wants to go with Clemens. She says like we can't let it get to London, so they we have our no pun intended our stakes. If he gets to London, that's going to be
yeah.
disastrous.
Stakes are high.
Stakes are high.
No, the
Um,
stakes are under your feet if you left forward.
Stakes are everywhere. Go make one.
Hello.
Um, so yeah, as I said, Clement's good deed unleashed this evil upon the ship. If you believe what Anna says, I'm still not sure exactly what Dracula's plan was, but
No,
in
I
an
think that's a slip in script. To be honest with you,
do you reckon? Yeah,
because of what she says later on
yeah.
about the last.
It doesn't line up with some other stuff, but
Yeah,
it could be just a little oversight. But um, so yeah. So one of the crewmen escapes. he does he go out in a little rowboat, isn't it?
He goes out on the only lifeboat that they have.
Yeah.
Good for you. He's the cook.
He's the cook, that's right. He's the
So
religious one, isn't he?
Joseph's the religious cook,
Yeah.
and Joseph's having a really hard time because God isn't really answering him at the minute.
Yeah.
And he's terrified. And I thought, oh, they're gonna let him go, and he'll survive. Maybe he'll be the character. But as you find out, nah.
Yeah, I know. I immediately thought this guy's done for.
Um, but even that, the way he went is actually really creepy and good because he's in a fog, and he always a fog with vampires as well. They turn into mist and stuff. And the fact that Dracula can now fly at this point because he's regained so much strength
Hmm.
from feeding on the crew that he now can fly. So I think you were talking about the question of why didn't he just let the ship go to London? There's some sort of like legend or dark magic thing where these people have to die, almost like a red carpet for him to go on. So that's why instead of letting this guy go in the rowboat, he flies out and kills him.
Yeah.
So nobody on the boat can survive because it's almost like a ritual
Yeah.
that has to be carried out before he can set foot in English soil.
Yeah. So Clemens says to Anna, "Why London?" And Anna says, "In my country, there is no one left to feed on." And that's the line I
Mm.
just had a few questions about. But um, in any case, Anna says, "We have found where the devil sleeps." So they discovered where he is, which crate is his. Um, but then we see Dracula gets the man on the rowboat. As you said, that scene is very good. It's very
Mm.
very atmospheric, and you got the fog and all this kind of stuff. And the guy in the boat would have no reason to think he's in any danger because he's off the boat.
Yeah, until his thing comes flapping down.
Yeah,
And he can hear it, but he can't see it until it's too late, which I thought was also a nice touch.
yeah. And we're coming up to my favorite scene in a wee bit involving our mate Liam Cunningham. Um,
The old him.
um, yeah, so Toby dies, and they're about to put his body in the sea. He's all wrapped up, and Liam Cunningham's acting in the scene is fantastic.
Yeah,
So Captain Elliot says he moved, so he thinks the boy has moved and that he might still be alive. And at first you're thinking, oh, all right, he's just a grieving granddad or whatever. He's just seeing things, and but he moves closer, and the boy does move, and he gets revealed, and he has the eyes are all white, and then he starts to get burned up in the sunlight, and then Liam Cunningham gets grabbed by him, isn't it? And then
yeah.
that burns Liam up a bit, but he
The kid
survives.
goes. Yeah, the kid goes to bite his granda and bursts into flame at the same time.
Yeah,
But I thought the makeup was very good there, and for some reason it was more effective with the kid. Maybe it's because he didn't have a beard and stuff, but that
yeah,
whole skin color in the eyes was horrible.
yeah,
And I say it's something about kids, especially where oh my god, that stuff happened to the kid. But that whole scene where he like sets his grandfather on fire, like mother of Jesus. And
yeah,
even then, when they threw him overboard, and you follow the body down to the bottom of the ocean, it was really close up and gross,
yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. No, it was good. Um, and as you
But
said,
again, I
like,
suppose that reinforces nobody's safe.
yes, yeah. When a kid dies, then anyone's up for
Yeah,
grabs. Like, and I'm glad they didn't hold back on that because I thought they were going to do a fake out that earlier with him, but
yeah.
no, he does get taken and then burnt up. So
I have a theory, which is probably just Owen thinking, overthinking things, that ever since the Salem's Lot scene, where the kid comes to the window and scratches and kills his brother, um, that if anybody that's writing a movie or a TV series about a vampire and there's a vampire kid in it, are always trying to match that impact.
right,
And I think this is one of the few things where I actually think they did match that impact.
Yeah.
because it was so the visuals and the speed of it and it was really freaky. So that actually is why that stands out in my head, and it's in my head along with the Salem's Lot window scratcher.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just something creepy about a vampire kid.
Mm,
And as you said, the makeup and everything looked really good.
mm.
Um, and then Clemens, later we see Clemens says to Wojciech, I want to show the beast, just like the world, it has no hold over me. So the world hasn't treated Clemens very fairly at all, as we said, because he's very skilled, but he's been held back by the color of his skin. Um, and yeah, I thought that was an interesting line. I want to show that the creature, just like this world, has no hold over me. I
See,
thought
it's
that,
kind of like he's trying to conquer the world because of what it's done to him, and
yeah,
Dracula's trying to conquer the world because he just wants to destroy it and suck it dry.
yeah, and it adds to that
So
whole thing
nice
he said
parallel.
earlier. It adds to that whole thing he said earlier, where he needs the world to make sense.
Yeah, yeah. So it's that nice parallel between the two of them. They both want the same thing to a certain degree, but in different ways.
Yeah. So they formulate a plan. So they plan on setting a trap and sinking the ship with Dracula on it.
Mm.
And we see that Dracula is in Elliot's head. Um, he's kind of whispering stuff about like being able to bring Toby back. Um, and I think he has a gun pointed at them. And Anna talks him down. She kind of explains like, this is nonsense. He's just manipulating you and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, he listens to her, and she brings him down. And then Elliot wants to go down with his ship, and we get more outstanding acting from our boy Liam.
Here, Joe, Liam, see if you're listening. Do you want to come on and talk about any of your movies with us?
Yeah, that would be awesome, wouldn't
Now, people share this to Liam Cunningham.
it?
I'm the guy that was on RT News when my mate standing behind you when you're getting interviewed at the Star Wars premiere. Still have met, and I have photos to prove it. We would love you to come on,
That'd be awesome. Maybe one day, huh?
wouldn't it? Yeah, don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly.
You leave it to me, son. I'll get you there.
Honestly, I think he's the best thing about this film.
He is. He's very good. He's very good. And the behind the scenes featurettes that were on YouTube, he said this is one of the best films I've ever been involved with. He says just everything from the sets to the writing he says it's just magical.
There's a
He
lot. There's
loved
a
it.
lot to appreciate about this for sure. But we'll get into
Right.
our final verdict at the end.
Mm.
Yeah, and then there's the battle with Dracula, and Elliot is killed, and he's tied to the steering wheel of the ship, isn't he?
See, that's what I swear that was in the original book that there was somebody found lashed to the steering wheel, which is how Dracula ensured the ship got to where it wanted to be in England
Yeah,
by, and it's almost like a sacrifice thing again, where we'll come back to that. I mean, this is all interpretation, but the original book, I think, had these sort of rituals. It's like blood rituals.
yeah,
Um, Again, it's you think, oh, maybe it's some Dracula has a background. You don't stop the audience. It makes you think and come up with your own backstory to why it would have somebody lashed to a thing.
mm,
To a steering wheel, sure. So it makes it's not like any R stupid movie where everything's explained to you. This one makes you think a wee bit, and sort of come up with your own
yeah. Although
sort of
there are
maybe
times where I
maybe
think more of an explanation is warranted with some
yeah. Oh
aspects.
yeah. We need more of those little one lines to explain
Yes,
things.
yeah. Um,
But to me, I think as far as I know, maybe I'm wrong. If anybody wants to correct me in the comments, that this is ritual, and that these are dying because of this ritual. This is the way it has to be in order for Dracula to move on to London.
that's interesting. Yeah. And then yeah, so Elliot is killed, and then Clemens and Anna team up to battle Dracula. Are you still there? I think you just cut out for a second.
No, I'm still here.
Yeah. You just
You hear me?
glitched for a sec. Yeah, I can hear you now. So yeah, Elliot, or sorry, Clemens and Anna are battling Dracula. Um, there's a bit where so there's one bit just before this where Anna says that herself and Dracula are kind of connected, and he will come for her. And when he's focusing on her, um, that's Clemens's opportunity to sort of attack. But that doesn't really come into play, does it? Like he comes after her
No,
because she shot at him.
no, it's weird. I mean, as I said, she has been a Capri Sun for the journey, so there is that connection. And as you've seen from when he was trying to influence Elliot, he obviously has that telepathic connection. She was I think if I remember the behind the scenes things, that she was chosen by whoever was left in the village and given to Dracula.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
she'll say a line later on that kind of maybe
yeah,
hints to that. But yeah. So
but
Anna
it doesn't
say
really jar.
sorry.
It doesn't really jar with what's gone before, because if that's the case, surely he if he has that connection with her. He would have seen everything through her eyes,
I'm not
if that's the
sure.
way it works.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works, but maybe like she's not fully changed, so maybe there's only like somewhat of a connection. But
Mm.
yeah, that whole bit of like he'll sense me and come for me didn't really come into play. Um, but yeah, during the battle, Anna cuts a rope and something falls on Dracula and traps him on the ship. I think one of the masts falls down or something like that. Um, and then Anna and Clemens jump overboard and use a bit of debris to float. Um, so they're off the ship and they're clinging onto this debris, and Dracula's trapped on the ship and it crashes to shore. But when it crashes, it kind of frees Dracula, so he's pinned, and then when
Mm.
it crashes, the thing gets loosened and Dracula's free. Um, so their plan didn't work. Dracula has made it to where he wanted to be. Um, and then Anna, we see, is starting to turn. So the blood transfusions kind of held it off for a bit, but it was inevitable that she was going to change. So we see her
Yeah.
eyes are starting to change. And this is the bit I was talking about where she says like her whole life people have chosen for her. Um, so she doesn't want to change, and Clemens is trying to talk her out of kind of like what she's planning. But she said, you know, she's choosing this for herself because people, Dracula and her villagers, they've always chosen for her. So she's choosing to go out on her own terms. So she kind of swims away from Clemens and then she burns up in the sunlight.
Mm.
What do you think about all that?
Again, it's sort of to me, it's part of how devastating a force Dracula really is. Um, you have that, and then your imagination kicks in. What did they do? For why did they choose her? What were they choosing her for? What was she put through? What did Dracula do? How close did you get that Dracula has that connection with her? So you've got all those questions in the background, because vampires in general don't really make sense to me.
Right.
Um, but they don't. I mean, like, right. So if Dracula here has drained a village dry, or she said country, which I think is actually I'm not a mistake. Um, where does it end?
Mm.
I know if you go to London, it's going to be a bigger feeding ground. So say he did bleed London dry. Where'd you go next?
Yeah.
Where'd you go next? What's the ultimate? What is the purpose of a vampire? That it has to stay in the shadow in order to survive, and has to rely on the human race not being aware it exists in order to strike where it needs to strike. Um, but everybody it takes, I know it can control certain people and make them their servants. You've got the familiars, you've seen in Blade, which that was a nice wee world. But ultimately, for vampires, it just like the bite women. They look for some reason they're looking virgins. What does he do with these three virgins he has living in a castle?
They're the brides
Do
of
you know what I mean?
Dracula, aren't they?
Yeah, the Brides of Dracula, Van Helsing, the Hugh Jackman one. That's all there, and you're sure going. it never really made sense to me. So I'm going to do a shameless plug. So when I was doing the Time Warriors, I decided to go and explain all that in Venom, Time Warriors Venom. So I created an enemy that is actually the genesis of the vampires, and that there actually is a plan that they're supposed to be doing, but because they don't have, just as she has a connection with Dracula, Dracula doesn't have a connection with his masters. So all he can do is just travel the world, feeding where he can feed, and that's his life until somebody kills him.
Yeah. If anyone's read the book, let me know, is his motivation for going to London the same as it is here, or is it different? I do plan on reading the book. It's on my list, but yeah, just let us know.
Yeah,
And
it would be interesting why London. Maybe it's because in that time it was also it had become such a metropolis with so many different cultures and everything in it. The world was open up, the worldwide trade with the sailing ships. He could have went anywhere, but there's something that you always associate Dracula in London with,
hmm,
like the Jack Ripper, the foggy streets, the capes,
yeah.
the hats, the canes.
So speaking of
And
London, we're now in London, and Clemens managed to survive the whole ordeal. He's the sole survivor, but he wants to hunt down Dracula, and he says, "I have seen the true darkness that dwells beneath the surface of the world. I have also
mm,
seen its beauty and those willing to give all to protect it." And he says this while sketching a picture of Anna, and so people have died trying to take this creature down, so he wants to do this largely for them, which is neat. Nice little touch for his character. Like, he doesn't want their deaths to be in vain.
no.
Um, and then I really like this ending. So we hear so on the ship they have this little knocking they do for when they want to contact one another or like summon someone. Like, you'll hear this knocking, and then that's the signal, like, oh, come here or whatever. So Clemens is sitting in a pub or whatever, and he hears the same knocking that he's heard on the ship, and he turns around, and we see a figure with a wolf head cane, and the whole. Is he wearing a top hat and cloak?
He was, yeah. He was dressed. I always put it in mind of Jack the Ripper, but remember that cane was also found
Hmm.
in the coffin earlier on. But yeah, he had the top hat, and I thought, very Jack the Ripper, but
Hmm.
that face, he still had that face.
Yeah.
It's almost like Superman walking through the crowd as Clark Kent. Nobody really takes notice. Nobody sort of goes, Jesus, look at the Stadium Man with his big ears. Um,
Yeah, so
so it's very,
Clemens is looking at him, and then someone walks in between them, and then Dracula vanishes, and then
yeah,
something brushes Clemens' ear, and then he kind of like turns around, but there's nothing there. So I really like that scene. I think it's very atmospheric and effective.
yeah. I think Dracula now knows he's got an adversary and his secret is out. So
Yeah,
it's a cat and mouse thing, but is he gonna come looking for him or is it's sort of like again, what happens next?
yeah, yeah. So at the end, Clemens swears by those who have given their lives, um he will send Dracula back to hell. And
Mm.
then the movie ends. So that was the last voyage of the Demeter. Owen, what's your final verdict on this movie?
I think it is Alien on a ship.
Yeah.
I think the underlying themes there are a couple of lines that should be in to sort of explain a few things. But
Yes.
I think overall, it's definitely worth the watch because I think it's very underrated. Um, I think the effort went into it, the plotting that went into Dracula to make him. Everybody's used to Dracula with the big teeth standing on somebody's window, which is why I hate sleeping with the windows open, which I have been doing for the last few nights. So I'm lucky I have no bite marks on my neck. But it's that Dracula is 10 to a penny and don't mind it. But I like to see the monster. There's a monster there,
Yeah.
and I want to see that monster, and that's what we got. And I think the greatest tragedy is those guys, if folklore is correct, were actually standing on the greatest weapon that they had, and they didn't even know it.
I think there's a few
But
things that could have been done to avoid this, or at least tried. Like, but it turned out the way it did.
yeah, but remember, do you remember? But I do think it's all to do with ritual, and they were a ship of the damned, full stop. From the minute that crew had come on, whatever ship that was going on, that crew was going to die.
Yeah,
All to pave the way for Dracula. Because I don't know if you remember when the Halloween movies went into later sequels to try to make Michael Myers the victim of a cult
yeah,
and bring him back and control him through it, which thankfully was dismissed. But I
yeah.
think
Not a
that
fan of
sort
that
of,
idea.
yeah, it's that underworld that Clements is looking for. He's seen the darkness. What else is in the darkness if Dracula's real?
Yeah, So like the positives in this movie. So I liked Clemence's character.
Yeah,
I don't think the writing is outstanding. I think the writing's okay.
no.
I don't think it achieves anything fantastic, but a lot of it is solid enough that I could enjoy the movie. I think I would have
Mm.
shortened it a wee bit. It did feel a bit too long, but
I
uh,
didn't think so.
yeah, maybe it's just me. But I like the atmosphere in the movie. Uh,
Mm.
I think it would be a decent one to throw on Halloween. Liam Cunningham's acting, that's a big bonus. That's a big plus in this movie. He's brilliant in this. I thought he was great.
Yeah.
Um, the concept, I like the concept. So taking a chapter from the book of Dracula and expanding that out into a movie, I think that's very cool. And
Mm.
focusing on Dracula as a creature,
Yeah.
as you say, I think that's a really cool idea.
Just
Um,
stripped everything away
but
that
if
you
yeah,
think you know.
yeah, but as I said, on a rewatch, I don't know if it'd go up or down in my estimation. I'm not sure, but at the moment, I think it's okay. I think it's a fine horror movie with maybe some holes and questions here and there. but
Yeah. There's a couple of holes, but I mean, it's a very good attempt to do something different with Dracula and really
yeah, say that again. Hello,
the performances work.
say that again. You
Can you
just
hear me?
cut out there. Yeah, go again.
The performances work, the money's there, the effort's there, the thought of how to portray Dracula in this
Yeah,
was perfect. He's a predator.
yeah. And
He's an
for the
alien.
most part, it was really well shot as well. Would you agree?
Mm. Oh, I mean
Yeah,
that I can't remember which character it was, but it again reminded me of Ripley seeing the alien at the end. No one she goes into the shuttle pod and suddenly she turns around, the alien comes out of the wall.
yeah,
It was like I can't remember what character it was, but it was the same effect. So I can understand the alien thing. And I think by not explaining enough leaves you thinking more.
mm,
But there's definitely a couple of points where either they got the lines wrong or there should have been an explanation.
yeah.
And all it takes is one line
Agreed.
to
Yeah,
cover a plot hole. But
agreed.
it is a great movie. I think it's a great wee movie. You need, if you're a Dracula fan, watch it because it's like nothing you've ever seen before.
Yeah,
As it for Dracula.
yeah. I mean, I gave my positives, but I would say it's the writing's okay, but I would say give it a watch and see what you think.
Mm,
I'd definitely recommend
yeah.
giving it a go for sure.
Oh yeah.
Right, so that was the last voyage of the Demeter. If you enjoyed this, give a like and subscribe if you want more breakdowns of movies. Owen, where can these lovely
Yeah.
folks find you and your wonderful work?
Well, hopefully talking to Liam Cunningham on the next podcast. But hey, let's get the word out. You'll find me on the Time Warriors and Beyond website. We've been working really hard on it. I'm now into 2027 for articles and book stuff. And as I was saying to Stephen earlier, what I've started to do is each story I've written in all the books, we're now 50 plus stories for the Time Warriors on 11 books. Um, Giving you a bit of a background on how that story came about, what inspired me, were a jumbled jigsaw of images I could never put together suddenly came together, things like that, inspirations and that. Um, Instagram, Time Warriors Author, and Twitter is the Irish Author.
Awesome. You can follow me at Stephen Carey Stories on Instagram, and there'll be a link in the description if you want to go check out my work, and there'll be a link to Owen's website, and go check out all those articles. He's putting a lot of work into them, so give them a look. And we'll be back next time, probably talking about Superman. I'm going to get Owen's thoughts on Super. So I have not seen it yet. Owen has, so it's going
I
to be
have.
mostly Owen letting us know his thoughts on the new Superman. I do plan on watching it. I just haven't yet. So watch out for that. All right. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.